Welcome, everyone, to another episode of In Depth with Academia. I'm Richard Price, your host, and just to remind everyone, I'm CEO of academia.edu, but today I'm here to walk you through new research, no endorsements, no judgments, just presenting what's in the paper itself. All right, today's discussion revolves around a paper by Jake Weaver. Now this one, it dives into Charles Darwin, not just as a legendary figure in biology, but as a real, complicated human being. The title? Charles Darwin, a factual reassessment. Weaver wants to look at the man behind the theory, his flaws, his contradictions, the stuff we usually sort of skip over in polite conversation. And that's what makes this interesting. Not science as a list of facts, but science as a messy human story. Let's set the stage. Darwin, creator of the theory of evolution, one of the most influential scientists ever. But the real question here is, how did his personal choices fit or not fit with the ideas he put into the world? Weaver looks right at the heart of it. Darwin's marriage to his cousin Emma Wedgwood, his understanding of the risks of inbreeding, his 10 children, several who suffered illness or died young, and, crucially, his public and private reflections on all of this. The problem? When and why did he ignore his own scientific warnings? And what does that mean for how we think about great figures in history and science? Why does this matter for you, the listener? Well, every time we hold up a genius or a theory as the truth, it's worth asking, wait, who was this person? Did they follow the advice they gave to the world, or did they, consciously or not, let their personal life influence and even contradict their science? It's about recognizing that academic research is not written from Mount Olympus. It's lived, flawed, and, superhuman. Let's break down what Weaver found. The methods are honestly pretty simple. A deep dive through Darwin's diaries, his private letters, his public books, and his very personal records about his children's health. Weaver documents the very clear evidence that Darwin knew inbreeding was risky. He warned about it in animals, he cited degeneracy and illness in livestock, and he even admitted in private letters that he was nervous about the consequences in his own family. And after one of his daughters died, he even wrote to his wife, Emma, that their children might suffer from the closeness of our blood, and that he wished he had known sooner. But here's the twist. He didn't stop. He didn't change course. He kept going. He kept fathering children. He logged every birth, death, and illness in almost scientific detail. And then, in his published theories, he sort of sidestepped any mention that it had anything to do with his own family. No public self-critique, no apology. It's like, as Weaver says, he was both the scientist and the specimen, but only ever admitted that in private. It makes me think, side note, but don't you wonder how many scientific breakthroughs are really driven by personal pain or secrets? How many theories began because someone needed to make sense, not just of the world, but of something in their own life? Anyway, maybe I'm overreaching, but it's a weird thought, right? So Weaver's big insight is that Darwin's genius wasn't that he denied or ignored his feelings of guilt, but that he redirected them. He reframed suffering as natural and told the public, here is a theory, here is truth, let's move on. He explained pain and loss, his and everyone else's, not as moral failures, but as what happens to living creatures. And there's something cold about it, but also kind of unfinished. Weaver's not saying Darwin was evil, just that he was, very human. So what does this mean for you? I think, if you're reflecting on big theories or big figures in science, it's worth remembering that all research is filtered through living, hurting, contradictory people. There isn't absolute truth coming down from above. There's only what someone observed, what they felt, what they explained in the moment. Maybe the lesson is to stay curious, not just about what someone claimed, but why they needed to claim it, and how their own story shaped the science you read in textbooks or online or wherever. Wrapping up, just to be super clear, I'm not endorsing Jake Weaver's conclusions or criticisms. I'm not here to pass judgment on Darwin or anyone really. I'm just sharing what the paper documents so you can consider the evidence for yourself. Academic research, it's a record, not a verdict. It offers insight to explore and reflect on, not something to swallow whole. Thanks for listening to In Depth with Academia. Next time, who knows? Maybe we'll tackle something a little less tangled, or maybe just as messy. Until then, keep asking questions, keep thinking for yourself, and remember, science is as much about the story as it is about the answer. See you soon.